Hey everybody, I'm Paulie G. Welcome back to the Paulie G Show, coming to you live from high atop Mount Georgia. How are you all doing, my friends? I hope you're doing well. It's a beautiful spring day here on Mount Georgia, and it's a great day for the Thrilla in Manila. Now, I'll pause here and ask, how many of you are old enough to know what I'm talking about? So, when my brothers and I were young kids, we were boxers. And there's nothing we loved more than a great heavyweight boxing match with Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier or George Foreman. And in those days, you didn't have to pay your cable company hundreds of dollars for pay-per-view to watch a boxing match. All you had to do was on Saturday night tune in to ABC's Wide World of Sports and watch these great events take place. And they were usually hosted by Howard Cosell. So those were great boxing matches, and I thought, what a great boxing match it would be between these two boxes, otherwise known as guitars. So on this side, we have the venerable Epiphone Excellente, which is one of my favorite guitars that I've had now for about 2 years. And I've thought a lot about how much it has in common with the Guild D-55. There's so many similarities between these guitars that I thought it would be a great matchup for one of these events. So, get into specs a little bit. Both are obviously square-shouldered dreadnoughts. Both have solid spruce tops. Both have ebony fretboards and bridges, bone pins, bone saddle, bone nut, all those things. Both are highly ornamented. Not that that has anything to do with sound, but it does make them look very similar. And both are just, highly crafted guitars. The one main difference construction-wise would be that the Guild is a rosewood back and sides, whereas the Epiphone is made of ovencal, solid ovencal back and sides. Now, it's not a rosewood material, but it's very rosewood-like. It's very dense. It's definitely a lower register, lower tone wood. So that makes it sound to me very much like the Guild in some respects. And they're both these are heavy guitars. The one thing about both of these is they're built like tanks. And, when I play my Martin or some of my other guitars, I love them, but they're so light and therefore tend to be a little bit more susceptible to the fluctuations in weather and humidity. Whereas these guitars, every time I pick them up year after year, it seems like I never really have to do much of any adjusting. At the most, maybe a slight truss rod adjustment, but no saddle tweaking or anything like that. The action just stays the same on them because they're just built so solidly. So for all those reasons, I thought it would be a lot of fun to pair these up and see, how they sound neck and neck with each other. So it should prove interesting. And another thing that I learned is that they actually share some DNA, believe it or not. So when Epiphone left New York in 1952, their vice president, George Mann, left the company and co-founded Guild. And he took with him a good many of his luthiers. So there's a DNA strand between these guitars that goes all the way back to the 50s. And obviously, both companies have changed tremendously since that time. But I just thought it was an interesting little, side note that these guitars, share that DNA strand, so to speak. So anyway, let's hear how these two sound up against each other. And afterwards, I hope you'll leave a comment and let me know what you think of the sound. So, here we go. Okay, so what did you all think? You know, as I play these two side by side, it gives me a great idea of what I love about each one of these guitars. So this video has actually helped me to appreciate both of them, and especially appreciate this Epiphone even more. I've loved it ever since I've got it about 2 years ago. And, you know, when you consider the fact that all of the ornamentation that is on this guitar and the quality of the build, and it's approximately, I'd say, about a third of the price of the Guild D-55. Obviously, it's an imported guitar. It's made in the Indonesia factory, the Masterbuilt factory, whereas the Guilds are now made in USA. They're presently in California. But there's a massive difference in price. So I'm not recommending one over the other. That's really for everybody to decide what they want to buy and what their comfort zone is. But I think it just points out to me more and more the value of this Epiphone guitar. It really is an incredible guitar for the price. Even with the price having risen quite a bit over the last couple of years due to demand. So one other thing I'll mention is that the piece of music that I played was a small snippet from my album Paul Georgia, North and South, available on all of your favorite streaming applications. So if you would be so kind as to check out some of my music, that would be greatly appreciated. Name of the album is North and South, Paul Georgia. That song is The Dust of Memphis. It's a instrumental song that I put on the end of it. So on that album, if you don't like the drummer or the guitar player or the piano player or the singer, you've got no one to blame but me, because it's all me. So if you like it, great. If you don't, I'm the guy that you need to tell. So anyway, I just want to say thanks for tuning in. It's always fun to be here with you. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it gives you some helpful information. And with that, I will just say until next time, this is Paulie G reminding you that when it comes to guitars, you only need one. More. See you next time.